Today we are bringing all of the MMA news straight to you with timestamps, by the way, if you'd like to skip to any part of the video. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with too many YouTube channels, and welcome back to everything that you missed in MMA this week. This is a series on the channel where we cover everything: fight announcements, drama going on in the community, trending posts from UFC on Reddit. We're going to talk about all of those in today's video. And guys, again, timestamps are there if you'd like to skip to any particular part of the video. Let's get into it. Starting off with Paddy Pimblett. So, of course, he's fighting Tony Ferguson in a few weeks. And Paddy Pimblett came out and he actually said that this is a lose-lose situation for him because with everything that Paddy Pimblett has been going through with the fans, everybody constantly bashing him. So, if he beats Tony Ferguson, everybody's going to be like, oh, well, you beat Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson's washed. Tony Ferguson can't even fight anymore. And if Tony loses to Tony Ferguson, it's going to be the end of the world. Like, you got beat by Tony Ferguson. And on top of that, with everybody hating Paddy Pimblett since his last fight, it really isn't a lose-lose situation. So, for some reason, that's been going around the MMA community. I don't even know if it came from an interview or if he posted something. I don't know. It's just everywhere I've seen Paddy Pimblett in a lose-lose situation, and people are even talking about it. So, I wanted to bring this to you today, and I honestly agree with it. Paddy Pimblett is unfortunately in a lose-lose situation here. I'm a Paddy Pimblett fan. Like, I like the guy. I think he got too much hate because it's not his fault that he won his last fight. You know, nothing you can do there. Moving on to the next topic. So we're taking a look at Reddit, the UFC Reddit. This was one of the most upvoted posts of the entire week in the UFC subreddit. So you probably have seen this if you're around the MMA community. Nate Diaz is a family man, and it's just like completely out of nowhere that Nate Diaz and his family, like, I knew Nate Diaz had a daughter, but I didn't know he had two other kids. I knew he had a girl. I don't even know if it's his wife, but regardless, it's so strange to see like Nate Diaz normal. Like, this looks like not the guy that like Nate Diaz like is when you see him online. You know what I mean? It's just completely different. It's just really funny. And of course, like, it has been trending probably more than anything for MMA this week, to be honest with you. Moving on, though, we're going to talk about UFC Canada very, very briefly. So the UFC announced that they're going to have 2 to 4 events in Canada in 2024, which is super cool. I am a Canadian myself, and while like you can say a bunch of different things about Canada that you want, right? I'm not going to get into Canada politically. I will say Canada has some of the greatest MMA fans. Every single time that you go there, the fans hype the place up. It's just like going to the UK. It's like being in Ireland. Like, man, it is so good when the UFC comes to Canada. The fans really make it special. The next one's going to be in Toronto. It's actually really close to me. Next up, guys, I want to bring you over to Leon Edwards versus Ian Garry because there was a rumor going around all week that Leon Edwards actually knocked out Ian Garry in a sparring session that they had. Leon Edwards came out in an interview and said that this is not true. So for everybody talking about how Leon Edwards can be Ian Garry, or just maybe Ian Garry won't be okay for his next fight because he got knocked out now, that is completely false. Leon Edwards said so himself. Next up, guys, I want to take you back over to Reddit one more time for today because this was also one of the biggest trending posts of the week. And this user had this to say: "This is, in my opinion, the greatest stare down we've seen in UFC in many, many, many years." I gotta say, it's completely true, man. Yuri Prochazka versus Alex Pereira, there was just something about that walkout. Something about those two just like looking at each other. Like, it was probably the most intense stare down. I honestly would say, too, that is the greatest stare down we've had in UFC history. Two guys, two top contenders, two champions going at it. Like, it was so cool, man. It was so cool. One of the coolest moments in UFC history. I completely agree with this. And of course, as it has been trending on Reddit, I think most people also agree. Next up, guys, so UFC Shanghai that was scheduled to be on December 9th has actually moved, and as of right now, as the time that I'm recording this video, there isn't a reason why, but the UFC Shanghai event has been moved to Vegas, which is very, very interesting. Now, there are some Road to the UFC fights on there. Those are going to be rescheduled, but everybody on there is going to be fighting in Vegas, and I can't imagine how hard that must be on the fighters. Who knows how it's going to affect their performance? Looking at it from a betting perspective, I don't even know if I want to necessarily touch this. I understand, like, yeah, they have a few weeks, but still, man, I don't know how I feel about that. December 9th, that's coming up. It's coming up quick, and it's a lot of fighters from over on the other side of the world. Now they have to adjust to Vegas. I don't know how I feel about that, man. I wonder why they moved it. Very, very interesting regardless. I hope it's at least at a good time for us like Western fans, to be honest with you. So guys, the last thing I wanted to talk to you about is this random drama that Sean Strickland started up because he went all in on Paige VanZant As far as I know, completely randomly. I'm just going to walk you through the tweets. I'm going to put Twitter on the screen for you right here. So guys, Sean Strickland decided to randomly bring this up, right? He posted this. Paige Van Zandt said she made more on OnlyFans in 24 hours than she did in the UFC. Let's unpack. You were signed because you're hot. Women's MMA is lame. Men will pay more to see you naked than watch you fight. Stay in school, kids. Fighting sucks. So as far as I know, he kind of posted this out of nowhere, which is pretty wild. But to be honest with you, like, it got 2.7 million views. Mission accomplished, man. Mission accomplished. But so Valentina Shevchenko ended up responding to this and said, interesting unpack here. That looks more like an unfettered kid who gets less money in his entire fight career than female fighters do. Good try. Maybe UFC will see that and add some cash to your purse next time. But for now, naked as you are. Now, it's not a good comeback. It's just not, man. Because, like, see, the top reply to it is, why is Alessa Grasso's daughter piping up to the champion? Like, see, like, it's crazy. And I like you, Valentina, but Strickland is correct in his tweet. Everybody was on Sean Strickland's side with this. So, Sean Strickland did end up saying one more thing about it, which is very interesting. I'd have to scroll down a little bit to find it, to be honest with you. Like, he's going crazy, man. So after I smoke you, do I get your nickname? Yeah, they started talking about shooting guns, which isn't, to be honest with you, it's not really that interesting. But he said, oh yeah, right here. This is where it was. Valentina, you lost to a girl pulls guard. You look like you learned striking from a YouTube video. LMAO, female MMA. It's like watching children fight. It's fun, but we all know it's trash. You have a job because you know when to put heels on and take off your clothes. And it's like, whoo, man. Sean, he's going crazy, man. He's going all out. But anyways, Ian Forrest Griffin replied to this and said, I'd be careful on that one. Even if she can't fight, she can probably outshoot you. And Sean Strickland just, no way she outshoots me. But to be honest with you, that's the extent of the drama, and people have been laughing about it all week. But anyways, guys, now I want to talk about all the fight announcements that happened this week. And we have some good ones. We have some pretty good ones. So not nearly as many, but some very underrated fights. I'm going to read them to you. I'll talk about them a little bit if I feel like talking about them. It's just like some stick out, some don't. Anyways, we have Viviana Russo taking on Natalia Silva on February 3rd. Always nice to see Natalia Silva fight. So nice talent for the division, kind of like Sean Strickland says. We need girls like Natalia Silva. We have Makhmud Muradov taking on Aliskabab Karizev on February 3rd. For this weekend, 2 fight changes. Christian Leora Duncan is taking on Dennis Tululin. Cesar Almeida is out, and that's very disappointing in my opinion because I was very looking forward to seeing Cesar Almeida fight. Uros Medic is taking on Mitibek Orabai tomorrow, and Johnny Parsons is out, so another unfortunate thing. I love watching Johnny Parsons fight, but other than that, we have Themba Garimbo, taking on Kiefer Crosby on February 3rd. Danny Barlow versus Yasu Kinoshita on UFC 298. Brad Tavares versus Gregory Rodriguez on February 10th, which is a very, very fun fight, by the way. And finally, we have Jasmine Jastavasius taking on Priscilla Cachoeira at UFC 297. The last fight, as of right now, it's the last fight being added to the Toronto card in Canada at UFC 297 there. So, honestly, some great fights there. Little disappointing about this weekend because I was really looking forward to Johnny Parsons and Cesar Almeida, to be honest with you. But what can you do, man? Those are all the fight announcements for this week. But before I get you out of here, guys, there are some fights that you should be watching this weekend. It's a very, very good weekend of fights. Very good weekend. So, today we have Bellator, which I'm very excited for. This video will be uploaded before I actually leave. I'm rushing today because Bellator starts at 5, right? I'm going to work. I'll be at work probably when this is uploaded. I have to rush home, take my dog to get her hair cut, and then I have to rush home for the Bellator card. Like, I know, like, I'm probably the only one who gets this excited for Bellator, like, on the planet. I'm probably Bellator's biggest fan, but I love their cards. I love Bellator, and especially, like, with the rumors that they're bought out. I don't even know if that's real because I'm finding, like, different situations and different people saying different things everywhere. I don't even know if it's actually true that they got bought out, so regardless, if Bellator is coming to an end, I want to soak in every little bit. But other than that, after Bellator ends, the main card for LFA is going to be on, which is very exciting. I'm a big fan of LFA as well. And then we have an awesome UFC fight night on Saturday. Guys, Bellator, LFA, UFC. Catch them all this weekend. They are great cards. I cannot wait to watch them. I'm a big fan of Sergio Pettis too, so I cannot wait to watch the brother of Showtime. And I guess, like, to be honest with you, I know Sergio doesn't go by Showtime, but, like, he's so exciting he can be Showtime. Like, I'm just excited for the card, man. You guys gotta check him out. But with that being said, though, guys, that is all that I have for you today. This is the video that we have out every single Friday, so subscribe if you'd like to stay up to date. And thank you so much for watching this video. Hit like and subscribe if you're brand new here or like the video anyways. But if you want to continue watching the Clenbat channel, there'll be 2 videos on screen for you to check out. I will see you either there or in the next video, everybody. Take care.